Hello, Steve Fletcher here, and welcome to another tuition video. Before we get started, please can I ask you to like this video and hit that subscribe button, all of which will take you literally seconds to do, if not just 1 second, but it will really help me grow my online business and is very much appreciated. Also, if I can ask you to head over to my website, the link is down there in the description. And there's the dog. Heading over to my website where you can find the tabulature for this and all of the songs that I've done. The tabulature is there for you. Also, what I will be doing over the next few months, it's August 2025 now, is I'm going to be putting together a little subscription service for those of you who want to help me out in that way as well, where you'll be getting all kinds of extra bonus material that only those members of those subscription service will be able to get. So things like behind the scenes videos, extra bits of learning, what I've used to get the sounds, all that kind of stuff and more. So please check that out. So today I'm heading into drop D territory. We're going to be taking a look at that drop D classic Rage Against the Machine song, Killing in the Name. So the first thing I just want to do is what we mean by drop D. Guitarists in general say a lot of, blurby things without actually then explaining what they actually mean. So drop D is the simple process where this bottom E string is lowered a full tone. So instead of being an E, it is down to a D. Now there's a couple of different ways that you can do this. The most easy and obvious way is to use a guitar tuner. If you use a chromatic tuner as well, rather than a guitar tuner, a guitar tuner generally, unless you tell it otherwise, will just tune the notes of your strings. So if you're trying to detune or put your guitar into a different tuning, sometimes they struggle a little bit. Whereas a chromatic tuner will just tell you what note you're playing, and you can then adjust it to the note, to find the note that you're wanting. And that's what you can do with drop D. The other way of doing it is by ear. Now this is a little bit more tricky and it just depends on how well trained your ear is. But if you play the open D string and then play the low E string, you can adjust that so that they sound the same. Now just a little bit of a word of warning is if you are using a Stratocaster type guitar or any guitar that's got a floating bridge, what we mean by a floating bridge is a guitar that's got a whammy, is whenever you adjust the tension of one of your strings, because of the way the strings are held in tension by those springs, if you adjust the tension of one of your strings, it's going to slightly adjust the tension of all your other strings as well. So just bear that in mind, that when you drop D with a guitar that's got a tremolo system, it's going to affect all your other strings as well. So just do a little bit of fine tuning to get everything nicely in tune. But because I'm using a Les Paul, that's not an issue. And what I've just done there is a lovely way playing a D chord all the way down to the bottom is a lovely way that you can hear that harmonizing effect of your detuned D string. Now, this is something again, I do teach, when I'm teaching drop D, which is what I use this song specifically for as part of the drop D section. When you're using a power chord, now normally your power chord shape on those strings would look something like this. But because the way your strings are now tuned, this note here, for instance, this is an F, has now gone down a tone. So instead of having that shape there, what you end up with is basically a line. Now that's all very well and nice, and if you're just wanting to play those thick power chords, it's a lovely thing to do. However, just to give you a little bit of an optional extra, which is something that I throw in periodically. That D that I did a minute ago, but that shape with the fret 2 and the fret 3 there, and that open string, that can be moved all over the place with that drop D very effectively. So we can take that power chord shape. Now if I was doing that D suspended 2 shape, that's obviously the 2nd fret and the 3rd fret there. If this was my note, the 2nd fret and the 3rd fret above that would be that 5th and 6th fret there. And I can put that same shape, that same D sus2 shape there, and end up with a chord that sounds like this. It is still basically a power chord, but as you can hear, because it's got those higher strings involved, it just sounds a lot richer as a chord than just doing that. Don't get me wrong, there's moments where that is a very effective thing and that's the thing you should do. But just sometimes in those verses and stuff and the choruses where you might just want things to be a little bit thicker, a little bit more harmonically rich, doing something like that is a lot more preferable. Now with Killing in the Name, there's a strange little thing with the guitar solo. Tom Morello is an absolute genius when it comes to manipulating his guitar tone, getting different sounds, making his guitar sound like anything other than a guitar. You know, he does these scratching effects, these beatboxing effects, all these weird noises, pulling out his jack lead and hitting it on his hand and stuff like that. One of the things he uses quite a lot, and in particular in Killing in the Name, is the whammy pedal effect. And what a whammy pedal is, it's basically a pedal on the floor. When you depress it, your note goes, well, it could go up, it could go down, depending on how you've got your pedal set up. He has his whammy pedal set up so that it goes an octave up. So if I was playing this open string here, press the whammy pedal down, and it sounds like that. Now whammy pedal, having a whammy pedal, it's like one of those, it's kind of like having a wah pedal or a talk box, you know? Obviously you're going to use a wah pedal quite a lot. There's quite a lot of wah pedal songs, but there's not very many whammy pedal songs, and there's even fewer sort of talk box songs, whether you're going to do, I don't know, Show Me the Way by Peter Frampton or Living on a Prayer by Bon Jovi. There's just not very many songs that you're going to use, you can justify buying one. So the vast majority of people just don't have a whammy pedal. So what I've done so that you can still play the solo is I've basically done a cheat no whammy pedal version of this song so you can get away with it. Now you're going to have to be aware of the fact that when you play this in concert or anywhere in rehearsal or in front of people, there's going to be that guitarist in the room who goes, oh, that's not exactly how Tom Morello plays it. And that's the moment where I usually go, yeah, thanks for that, off you go. But you know, the average bedroom, living room guitar player doesn't have oodles of pedals. So I just want you to be in a situation where you can still play a version of the solo that still sounds okay and passable, but you know, doesn't mean that you're going to have to go out and buy a whammy pedal. What it will also mean is you're going to have to sort of, he does the tremolo pick, he's doing that, but because there's a lot of jumping of the strings, you're probably just going to be playing like one note. That kind of idea. Okay, I can already sense the internet screaming at me, hello, by the way, for not doing the whammy pedal solo. So what I've done is I have added a whammy pedal. I'm just going to show it you very quickly for those of you who have got a whammy pedal and you want to know how to do it properly. Obviously, this is, I think, a minority audience, but there you go. So you're going down this D minor pentatonic. And later on, there's an added 9 in there. So you're going 13, 10, 13, 10, 12, 10. And just put a flag in your brain for this 9 later on. And you're going to do a lot of this tremolo picking. So without any whammy pedal at all, you're doing this. And there was that 9. So with the whammy pedal, it sounds like this. And there it is. So thank you very much indeed for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. Please do take a moment to like this video. Please subscribe. Please leave me some nice comments. Make me feel all warm and fuzzy. And we'll see you next time, boys and girls. Thanks ever so much. Bye now.